Okay, so one of the common questions that we get, that we've gotten through this process is, what held you back from healing? And Morgan, I was wondering if you could share some of your experience with us.
Okay. Yeah. What held me back? Part of it was probably a challenge in letting go, fear of, or an uncertainty about the future, fear of the future, and what that would look like if I were, which sounds so silly to say now, because it was like staying in that that struggle, or that feeling of like that yucky feeling, and why would I want to stay there? But I guess just a fear of, yes, the unknown of, well, what's going to happen, or who am I going to be, or who am I? There, and a lot of mental chatter, and when I'm not mindful, or I don't take time to quiet the mind, that I have a lot of racing thoughts that are not the most positive. So, when I was able to calm that mind and get into a quiet space, and meditation really helped me with that as well. It just put things in perspective.
Yeah.
And I realized that I can move forward, and there is that I can trust, that I could trust in not only myself, also the universe, or the source, however you'd like to call it, that I will be taken care of. And that's the big one. I still need to remind myself of that. And and what held me back, and also not connecting with myself enough, or my intuition, my soul. If I don't take that time to check in, then I tend to, the mind runs the show, and or the ego, and it's got its own plans, and it's got
wants everything done now. Yes.
Yes. And also holding on to ideas and thoughts of what I used to want my life to look like. Say early 20s, and all this, yes, your life has to look like huge house, a car, you have to have, a family by this time, all these things. And I came to realize that maybe that's not actually what I want, and what my soul wants or needs. It's like this vision from somewhere else, or something else outside of me, that I've been conditioned to think is is the dream.
Yes. Yeah. Whose dream is it?
Yeah. Whose dream is it? Exactly.
Very, very interesting. I really resonate with that.
How about for you? What held you back?
I think similar to you, there are three main things I think that held me back from healing. The first thing was a real inherent fear of letting people down. And when I say people, I actually mean family. That was the first and foremost. I had a real fear of letting them down, because I spent most of my early life in my 20s trying to mold myself into what I felt they wanted me to be. And so I was afraid. I was afraid of breaking those perceptions and not being loved. Inherently, it was a fear of being unlovable. you know. And that's a deep thing, but that was the one thing that was holding me back from changing for my benefit. The other thing was, it goes back to what I was saying about giving power away. I used to have a mindset that was very much about, why is this happening to me?
Oh.
So it was quite a victim state to be in. And I remember once, you know, I was in my job in TV, and I was very, you know, I was unhappy, and I was complaining about it to a friend of mine. And this dear friend, an amazing soul, stopped for one moment, and she said to me, Lucy, why do you think this is happening for you? And that was a complete game changer, because it allowed me to take my power back and to recognize that I wasn't a victim in that situation, but I needed to change. I needed to decide, and it wasn't going to change for me, you know?
Wow.
And the other thing, which was huge, and again, this has been a lifelong work in progress, is I used to have, I would say, a complex relationship with the universe, where I used to think that the universe was transactional. And I had a fear, again, it was a fear, that if something good happened in my life, then something would be taken away. That I was never truly allowed to be in joy.
Yeah.
And that was a deep, deep fear of mine. And so it took a lot of conscious belief work that I did through neurolinguistic programming and through healing and through some soul work to begin to change that narrative and rewrite that story, so that my belief is now that the blessings the blessings that are coming to me will not pass me by.
Beautiful.
And that the universe is not transactional. You know, so that's been a real work, a life's work to implement, and it has had a really soothing and healing effect on my relationship with myself and with others.
Wow. Yeah, and I feel a lot of people can relate with that transactional feeling, or like, you know, I mean, because if you think about it, we live in such a transactional society.
Yeah.
With consumerism and such.
It is, and a lot of it is fear-based.
Yeah.
And so there is often an underlying fear that we don't feel that we actually truly deserve to be in joy. Because being truly in joy actually means that we surrender, doesn't it? It's about surrendering to joy.
Yeah.
And fear doesn't allow us to surrender. Fear keeps us tightly closed and confined in boxes, so that we continue to, go with the status quo.
That's it. And controlled, really. When you're in a state of fear, people are easier to control. Not. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Oh my. Surrender. Such a good word. It just always makes me feel like,
Yeah.
like, I can just let go. Just let go.
And so just to close on that point with something practical that helped me with that is the practical, the tool of practicing heart coherence. So simple meditation tool of connecting to the heart and allowing the heart to lead rather than the mind. Connect, and that's also a lovely way of connecting to the emotional state of where you're at in yourself in the present moment.
Beautiful. Oh, and I have I started recently doing prayer in the evening, and I did not grow up in a religious household or anything. I often thought of prayer as like silly and just not for me. And recently I started kind of a prayer and in the evening before bed, and it's actually very soothing. I find it very soothing to my soul, and to like set set intentions as well. I feel like it's kind of that. So, I mean, I guess you don't have to call it a prayer if you don't like that word, but it's like a moment to even like a moment of gratitude, and a moment of thanks, and a moment of focused intention has been really helpful for me as well.
Beautiful.
So what are your hopes and dreams for the community, the Replenishing Life Project community?
Yay! My hopes and dreams are that people feel that they have arrived and they can breathe into their bliss. My hopes are that people find friends and connections that they can trust and they can connect with for the rest of their lives. My hope is that people receive the nourishment, the mind, body, soul nourishment that they desire, and that people feel safe to share their experiences. They feel safe to reach out, to ask questions, to engage, to comment, to explore, and that they feel empowered by the content that we share, by the stories we share and the resources that we share, to really create their own healing journey for themselves in a way that empowers them.
Oh, beautifully said. Yeah,
How about you?
Wow, yeah, no, I was going to say that's it in a nutshell. I mean, my hope is for people to find, yes, a safe space and a place of support, and somewhere where they can explore different options of how they can heal themselves, and to also reclaim their power and who they are, and remind themselves of who they are and their own guidance system, and to follow that, and to practice their discernment and all those juicy things. Oh yeah, I'm just so excited.
Yay!
I'm so excited to bring everyone together and for the community. Yes.
Amazing. Yay!
Yeah.